Hey, what's up everybody? It's Dean, aka Razzy D from Filthee Feet, here with another tutorial. Today I want to talk about a really simple move called shuffles. Now shuffles is a really simple move that maybe everyone learns near the beginning. It's a really basic thing that it's easy to learn, it's easy to apply, but maybe people don't try to explore with it too much. So let's get into it and then we'll kind of break it down and see where we can take it through some simple exploration exercises and trying to break down what the move itself means. So first, let's look at the actual move itself. So this is the way I learned it. Simple side shuffle. So we basically create a tripod with our arm, our hand, and our feet like this. And then from there, we just shuffle. Now what's going on with the shuffle is you do a small hop and you kind of slide your feet, right? So if you just slide your feet without the hop, you can't do it, right? Sorry for this one, the noise. So you gotta hop slightly and just kind of slide the feet. You're not doing like a full bounce like that. It's quick. And what you want to do with this is create like these little small shuffles. So that's a really basic one, but how can we start to take it in different directions? So one way that you can kind of level this move up is, we'll stick with the side for now, and you just start playing with your foot placement. So right now we're going kind of like front to back, but you can do like side to side, or whatever orientation you want to, how you want to perceive it. But we'll go here, and we go boom, boom. But you can also go here, here, or you can go here, 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 here. You can shuffle in, out, like that, right? So that's your foot placement. And you know, this applies to any direction really. So we can do it on the side, you can do it this side, you can do it this side. Boom, 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 boom. Right? You can do it to the front. Right? Here. Again, sorry for the squeaking, but you get the idea. And again, to the back. Right? So foot placement and kind of the direction that you're doing it in. Sides, front, back, that kind of thing. Now, the next kind of layer that you can add on to that is, what are you doing with your hand? And this is more like something that I'm always trying to be aware of and always trying to work on with regards to footwork, is like, what are my hands doing? Because they can make all the difference. That can make the difference between like good footwork and amazing footwork, is those little details, you know. And this, just a quick thing, like this is what I mean when I talk about judging and judging deeply. You can have two people do the same move, but one person is doing something, they're paying attention to their hands. That's a subtle detail that will push someone ahead of the other person, right? That's just a quick example, but that's what I mean, like what you're doing with the rest of your body, where you're looking, where your hands are, that factors into everything. So something to be aware of and something to try and actively work on from time to time. So, you know, you can just go opposite, like you're running or something like that. You can, you know, do these little poses. You can, you know, and sometimes it'll depend on the music. You might go super fluid and wavy with your arms or something, and your feet are doing that. Dum, 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 dum. I don't know if I have the coordination to do that. You get the idea. Yeah, so that's the kind of main idea, is your hands. What are you doing with your hands? Next would be levels. And this is these are kind of layers that you can add onto any move really, but let's look at it within the context of a shuffle. So levels, what can you do with that? So a really simple one is you take it to the floor. You hear, dum, dum, dum. Now you have shuffles here. You can have them in the front, and this can kind of convert into some back rock stuff depending, it all depends on what you want to do, but that's the idea. Is you don't have to do shuffles in a footwork position. And just like that same token, you can take it up and you can add them into your top rock. So when you're doing steps, you might do something, and of course it depends on the music, but you might do something and then a quick little shuffle here, or boom, 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 right? And I think there's even like an old kind of like 90s hip hop party dance, kind of like something like that. You get the idea, right? So it's not limited to footwork. You can bring it into top rock and play around with it there and see what you can do. You can use it as a go down maybe, and in the same sense that you did a go down to the floor, to the back rock, boom, 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 boom. You might do the same thing, so, something like that. Little shuffle, shuffle, drop, shuffle, shuffle. Keep the idea going through the levels, top rock to footwork, and just keep it going. That was just an initial sort of thing, right? But again, you get the idea. Next layer, or next way of kind of utilizing it, might be to use it in footwork. So there's a step that I learned where you just kind of replace some of the 6-step steps and just throw in shuffles. You throw in a shuffle. So from here, instead of this hook, you would sweep through into a shuffle and then back. Go through, shuffle, through. Boom, boom, boom. The way that I use that in particular is I do the shuffles, and then I come around the other side and I take that shuffle momentum. This is just a quick example of how you can progress it and utilize the shuffle as an exit. So you have this boom, boom, and then I can use that same underneath momentum and swing over this way. And then I keep going into something else, but yeah, again, you get the idea. It's just examples of how you can utilize these things, how you can get out of them and whatnot. So building off of that, getting out of the move, something that you can do is also think about switching from one side to the other through like a hand transition. So what I mean by that is, if you're doing a side shuffle facing this way, right? Boom, 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 boom. Maybe I end up here, and then I might take it and shuffle as I switch sides. From the front shuffle, you might do the same kind of thing, where you're here and you're boom, 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 whatever, boom, 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 boom. Now you're in the back and you can shuffle. So it's not limited to you have to do it all on one side and this kind of thing. You can transition. You can, once you get comfortable with that kind of feel, you can start to just kind of play around and just move your feet into different places, and yeah, you just play around. But it's the kind of thing where you want to use it like an accent. You want to break up the pattern of kind of regular footwork, this circular stuff, and then suddenly it gets really choppy and broken. And then you go back into that flowing kind of aesthetic that footwork tends to have. So going back to my last video about hand styles, I know a couple videos ago about hand styles, how to use your hands in footwork, in top rock. It's a similar kind of thing that you can start to do too much and take away from the kind of default mode of footwork of top rock. And you know, the equivalent would be, say, the shuffles, or you know, your little hand gestures and these little highlights. Those are little peaks in your story progression of a full round, right? And you're building up to this big moment. Those little moments are kind of these little peaks and valleys, and you need that contrast. If everything's shuffle, 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 big, big, big thing like that, that's the equivalent of watching an action movie where the entire movie is action scenes and explosions and gunfights and things like that. And that might be cool in the beginning, but if that's your entire movie, then that becomes the standard, and it doesn't become, you don't get those highs and lows anymore. Everything's up here. But when everything's the same level, that's now your standard, and it's like, it's not as interesting. And you'll get more impact from contrasting it with slower, simpler movements and that kind of thing. So, small little rant aside. Let's move on to another way of conceptualizing the move, and let's think, well, we're doing the shuffles with our feet, right? We've played around with what our hands are doing, and you know, you can practice with like touching the feet and transitioning out of it, much like we did with the CC. You know, hand placement, what are you doing with your hands? You could do opposite hands, you know, and why does it have to be this one? It could be that one, and you can play with that, right? There's no reason why it has to be this hand. It's more comfortable doing that hand, but sometimes it's really good to just try what is uncomfortable. Another one is using that shuffle and applying it to your hands. This is something that I try to do a lot, is when I start to run out of ideas, you know, I start to think, well, how can I incorporate my hands, my arms? What if I did this movement that's always focused on your feet, and I did it with my hands, and that's the highlight, something like that. So, you know, a really simple example would be something like you're doing footwork, something like this, and you end up in this kind of back shuffle, and you maybe do a couple boom boom, and then you contrast it with hands. Or you're doing stuff like this, and you go boom 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 boom, and then boom 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 boom, like that, something like that, right? So playing around with what your hands are doing. You might even do, let's see if this even works, like if you can find a good way of getting into it. One hand, one foot. So you have one for stability, and what are they doing, right? These are just ideas that maybe right now they look kind of weird, but it's working through these ideas. Oh, that's something. I never thought of doing that. Okay, let's see where this could go. Okay, and that's the main idea behind these things, is to give you guys the ideas and give you guys like ways for it on how to take one move and start to create a bunch of different moves out of it. So to sum up, because I'm trying to make these a little shorter and ramble less, you have the shuffle, side shuffle, side shuffle. You can do it, side shuffle. You have it on the other side, side shuffle. You have it in the front, front shuffle. You have it in the back, back shuffle, this kind of thing. You can change it by playing around with your foot placement, that kind of thing. So instead of just only front, back, you might cross, boom, 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 right? And you can do that in the front. You can do it with like up and that kind of thing. Like that's still your foot is kind of shuffling. You might do a hook, kind of like a shuffle in the front. All kinds of things. Same thing in the back. Kind of like bicycle pumps. Boom, boom. Instead of them being like that, you're sliding your feet. You have on the sides lots of different things you could do. Then you have kind of playing around with the orientation, going from side facing this way to that way, front to back. So here, boom, 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 like that. Back, dun, 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 that kind of thing. Orientation. We played around with levels. Down, coming up, like learning to not have any separation between the two. Same thing with standing. You might be doing top rock and this kind of thing. Shuffles as you're standing, shuffles as they go down. Yeah, using your hands. You know, it doesn't have to be only your feet. It can be your hands. You can use your hands, and you can play with hand placement. It doesn't have to be always this hand, this arm. You can switch it to the wrong arm, that kind of thing. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Right? Shuffle with your hands. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe I end up there and shuffle, shuffle, just to add some kind of contrast and then I get out of it, right? Using it in footwork, right? So sweep, shuffle, 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 that kind of thing. That's a lot of stuff. So that's shuffles in a nutshell. Hopefully this video gave you some kind of ideas and directions that you might be able to take them if you really want to work on shuffles. But again, it's the kind of move where you want to use it sparingly. You don't want to build like an entire combo of shuffles, but you want to use it to highlight certain moments throughout your round. And it's a very kind of dancey part of footwork, whereas, you know, 6-step and 3-step and all these kind of things, they're very flowing and they're very circular and continuous. Same thing with like pretzels and Spider-Man threads, all these kind of things. Shuffles are a great moment to really like accent some part of the song, some part of the music. So always be aware of that, and you know, just keep them in your ingrained arsenal of movements that you can do at the drop of a hat, drop of a dime. I don't know what the expression is. Anyway, you can just do it whenever you want. So yeah, hopefully it helped. If you like what I'm doing, give the video a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to stay updated. Whenever I release a new video, I'm really trying to get these out regularly. One tutorial a week and one discussion video a week or interview a week. And if you really want to go above and beyond, if you really like this stuff and want to support it, like I do this at the moment, like I don't get paid by YouTube. I don't have enough subscribers, so subscribe. I don't have enough subscribers, so I don't make any money from YouTube. So if you really want to support, check out my Patreon page. There's a lot of different tiers that range from just getting your name in the credits and access to a private Discord channel where you can discuss with other members and build with other members and myself. And you can get access to the full interviews that I post. I only post a small portion of them on the channel, so you can check out those whole entire interviews. And you can even sign up for monthly online lessons. So there's that. If you're interested in getting a more like personal coaching experience, you can contact me and we can go from there. So thank you guys for watching. I hope it wasn't too long. Let me know in the comments any feedback that you have on this video, and it always helps me to kind of tailor these things to what your needs, because that's really what it's about. It's about me just sharing what I know and helping you guys develop what you want to develop and where you want to improve. So thanks again for watching. We'll catch you later. Peace.